beauties, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you could join me today. I am talking all about how to look expensive on a budget. So I have a lot of tips to share with you today, and a lot of these don't even cost anything, but they can make you look much more high-end and much more expensive. So let's go ahead and dive into them. The first tip is to wear clothing that fits. A lot of times people are wearing items that are too big or too small, and it doesn't matter how much it actually costs you. Even if it's an expensive item, it just doesn't look expensive because it just doesn't fit well. However, if you wear things that fit your body well and that almost look like they were made specifically for you, it just looks so much more high-end and more expensive. Sometimes this means that you have to tailor your items. For example, I'm really short, I am 4'11", so a lot of times I have to tailor my maxi skirts or dresses, and sometimes I even need to hem my jeans, and I can't tell you what a difference it makes. Even if the item is not expensive at all, it just elevates it a little bit because it looks like it was made for me and it fits perfectly. Another way to look expensive is to wear neutral colors. So I love to wear color in general. So I'm not gonna say like you have to wear neutral colors or anything, but they definitely tend to look a little bit more high-end. Things like lighter neutrals like white or cream or khaki, tan, gray, black, anything like that just tends to look a little bit more on the expensive side, especially if it's a solid color. Also colors like pastels, which I tend to wear a lot, and then jewel tones in the fall and winter can look very expensive and high-end. Which brings me to my next point. Solid colors. Wearing solid colors looks a lot more expensive than wearing prints. And let me just say, I love my prints. I love wearing polka dots and floral prints, and they can definitely look expensive if other elements of the outfit work together. It has the right shape, or if it fits the body well, or fits a really nice structured design or a simple design, then if it has a print, it can definitely look expensive. It just depends on what the rest of the garment looks like. But I'm talking more so about kind of those loud, crazy prints or cartoony prints, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. I think that everyone's style is very unique to them and different, and if that works for you, then I say go for it. These are not tried and true rules. These are just kind of guidelines in order to get the expensive look if that's what you want to achieve, but you certainly don't have to do that. You can play around with it and wear whatever you want. But in relation to the more bright and colorful and crazy prints, solid colors just look more expensive in that way. One of my favorite ways to look more expensive is by wearing a monochrome outfit. So if you are not familiar with monochrome outfits, they are basically an outfit where you wear one color or different shades of the same color from head to toe. This is one of my favorite style hacks, and I think that monochrome outfits can make anyone look so high-end and so chic and so stylish. So for monochrome outfits, if you really want to up the chic factor, then definitely neutrals are very good for this. Also, really deep tone colors like jewel tones look amazing from head to toe. So for example, emerald green, burgundy, plum, and then also pastels are always really great. I love wearing pink pastel, so like blush pink head to toe. And also this one, I think that you can also pull off bright colors if you're kind of like a fashionista and you want to go really bold. I think that bright colors like yellow or hot pink or cobalt blue, anything like that, I think that you can really make it work. Tailored and structured items always look high-end, so things like blazers or a peacoat or some kind of structured outerwear or a structured skirt like a pencil skirt or even an A-line skirt, and then also more structured dresses. So something that looks like it's very tailored and also just fits you very well. Those things always look very high-end and very chic. Simple shapes are also a very good way to look expensive. If you look at a lot of high-end designers, many of them use very simple shapes and very simple colors, and it can look a little bit plain. So for me, I I am not a minimalist at all, but I will say that minimalism and minimalist outfits look very high-end. Another simple way to achieve a high-end look is to tuck things in. So if you're wearing a top, even if it's a loose top, just tuck it into your jeans, tuck it into your trousers or your skirt, and instantly I feel like that elevates your look. Another way to look more expensive is to go minimal on things like prints and embellishments. So if you've been following me for a long time, you know that I love prints and I love embellishments. Both of them are very much part of my personal style. When you're trying to look a little bit more expensive, simplicity is the key. Instead of going for a print, try going for something like this that has a little bit more texture. So this is a lace top and it almost mimics a print, but it's not a print. And it's a solid color, and just because of the material and the texture, it looks a little more high-end. And with embellishments, I feel like you have to be a little bit careful with this one because they can go cheap really fast. So I love wearing like pearl embellished shirts or skirts or things like that, and sometimes I'll do rhinestones, but it really just depends on what the stone looks like, because sometimes they have like the plasticky looking ones, and so I don't go for those. I go for ones that look a little bit more expensive, and the whole thing isn't bedazzled, although I'll go there. I've worn plenty of bedazzled tops, but if you're going for a more expensive look, then just go minimal on your embellishments, and I wouldn't wear too much jewelry if you're wearing an embellished top or skirt or something like that, because you definitely want it to be more on the minimal and simplistic side. This one is kind of like a life hack, and this is a really easy switch. So if you have a coat that is not expensive, switch out the buttons, and I promise you it will look way more high-end and more expensive. So for example, I had this coat from Forever 21, and I don't even remember how much I paid, maybe like $30, $40 at the most. I got this a while back, and I swear to you, so many people stopped me in my tracks and asked me where I got it. And all I did was I switched out the buttons, and it looks like a brand new coat, and it looks so much more expensive than it really was. So if you have some outerwear that is a bit on the less expensive side, I would urge you to go buy some buttons. So some really nice like metal buttons, or buttons that just look more expensive, because it will really elevate the entire coat. Another good tip is to wear the right undergarments. So you want to wear undergarments that fit and that don't show through your clothes. For me, this usually means like nude undergarments, and I like to wear strapless bras so my straps aren't showing where I don't want them to be showing. So I think it just depends on whatever outfit you're wearing. You just want to make sure that you have some seamless looking undergarments that won't show through your outfit. I think that's really important, and just doing that little tiny thing can really like elevate your look a lot. It's kind of crazy what a difference that the right undergarments can make. Another good one that I think a lot of people don't utilize a lot is to steam or iron your clothing. So some items don't require it. So for example, like this shirt, it doesn't wrinkle because of the material, but there are some garments that do wrinkle really easily because of the type of material. So if you're wearing something, even if it's really expensive and it's wrinkled, you're just not going to look expensive at all. It's just gonna look like you slept in your clothes, fell out of your bed, and then you went to work. So there's a few things that you can do to minimize wrinkles. When you are doing laundry, make sure you take everything that is in the dryer out of it as soon as it's done, and then hang it up. The heat from the dryer already helps with keeping your clothing wrinkle free, but if you let it sit in the dryer, or if you just put your clothes in a pile and let them sit there, then they're gonna wrinkle up and you're gonna have to steam them, or you're just gonna have wrinkled clothes. I also have a steamer that I love to use, and I love using steamers over ironing boards and irons just because I feel like it's a lot less of a hassle and it's more portable and it's just a lot easier to use. I also have a travel steamer and anytime I travel, I bring it with me, especially to places like New York Fashion Week, because at places like that, you're gonna have your picture taken constantly, so it's really important to have your clothing on par. And so having a portable steamer is really one of those necessities that I think every person should have. And now for accessories. I would say say that a simple classic pair of sunglasses always elevates your look a little bit. So by classic, I mean classic shapes. So if you look back on photos of old Hollywood stars like Audrey Hepburn, you'll see that a lot of those shapes are still very relevant today. So I would go for something that's a little bit more classic, so a slight cat eye, or even something a little oversized or an aviator style. Just make sure that it fits your face and it fits your style and it's more of a classic shape. I will say that I do love fun sunglasses and I love to wear them. But if I'm going for a more streamlined, polished, and high-end look, then I'll go for one of the classic shapes. And that always seems to be the right finishing touch for my outfit. Another must-have accessory would be a structured handbag. I prefer more classic shape handbags, so shapes that stand the test of time. They're a little bit more classic and kind of go with everything and mix and match. I would personally choose a more structured handbag over something that's a little less structured, like a hobo style or something that's kind of flimsy. Even though a more expensive handbag may have a slouchier shape, the one that is more structured and tailored is always going to look more expensive just because of that classic shape. And also with the handbags, I would personally choose one in a neutral color. For jewelry, I would recommend doing more simple, dainty jewelry. I used to be obsessed with big, giant statement necklaces, and I still do love them and I wear them from time to time, but I feel like as I've gotten older, my jewelry has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, and I don't know if that is just because I've been like aging or if that's because my taste has changed a little bit. But with the jewelry, I would say the simpler the better. So for example, like a pearl necklace or some diamond stud earrings, or like a nice little pendant necklace, or even like a brooch. And for me, I love hair accessories, so you could use a hair accessory too, like a little dainty bobby pin or something, but just as long as it's small and dainty and simple. I think that that is probably the key when it comes to jewelry. And it doesn't even have to be real. It doesn't have to be like a real diamond stud earring or like a real pearl necklace, and it doesn't even have to be expensive. I just feel like those styles of jewelry tend to make an outfit look a little bit more high-end. Now let's get into beauty. The first tip I have would be to keep your nails simple and clean. Having polished nails is always really nice. I think that colors that look a little bit more expensive are neutrals and lighter pinks and things of that nature. Something that can mix and match with your outfit and it doesn't really draw a lot of attention away from you or from your outfit. Also, making sure that your nails stay chip-free is important if you're trying to look a little bit more expensive, because having chipped nails can do the opposite. And also, you don't have to have polished nails. I think that clean nails can also convey a higher end look. So for example, just taking good care of your nails and keeping them trimmed up and maybe polished with a clear coat if you want, or putting some cuticle oil. So even just having like a nice, clean, healthy nail is perfectly fine. Polished hair always looks a little bit more expensive than, say, bedhead. So this one is actually really easy. You don't have to spend hours on your hair or anything. I would say just make sure that it's brushed and looks presentable and it's clean, and that's it. I mean, that is such an easy way to look more polished and more expensive. Also, taking good care of your hair, so making sure that you are regularly trimming the ends, or if you have bangs like me, that you're trimming them up, or if you want to grow them out, you can do that too. But you just want your hair to look clean and healthy, and really that's all you need in order to look a little bit more expensive. Another tip would be to start a skincare routine. So I talked about this in my confidence video, and I will link that somewhere. but just having like nice, clean, smooth skin can really elevate your look. And a lot of that can be done not only with your skincare, but with your diet. I know that for me, the foods that I eat typically show like through my skin. So for example, I have issues with a lot of foods and I have had to remove them from my diet. Dairy is a huge culprit for me, and I know this isn't like right for everyone, but for my body, it was doing a lot of crazy things, and so it would make me break out like crazy. And I guess this is like typical for some people, but once I removed it, my skin started to calm down and it wasn't as red anymore and as inflamed, and I wasn't breaking out as much, and so that really helps. So I think that you should establish a skincare routine, definitely wear sunscreen outside, and utilize the foods that you eat in order to create your best skin. Wearing a signature scent is also a really good way to come off as more expensive. I remember I used to work in retail and there was this lady and she would come in all the time. She was a regular, and I just remember she always smelled so good. She also like wore very structured things and just looked very, very expensive and very high end. And I think that the fragrance really tied into that. So I love wearing perfume all the time. I have so many. I need to share my collection. And while I don't have a signature scent because I love wearing different ones depending on my mood or depending on, you know, what time of the year it is, I think that having a signature scent is ideal for creating a more expensive look. It also doesn't have to be an expensive fragrance either. I think that just the fact that you're wearing a scent conveys a higher end look. Wearing a simple neutral makeup is also key for achieving a more expensive look. So I love all my beauty bloggers out there. You guys are awesome. And I love all of your fun, colorful, creative, and innovative makeup looks. And I think that they are incredible and that it takes a lot of talent to do that. However, if you look at a lot of elegant women and people that dress more expensive, they tend to wear less makeup. And when they do wear makeup, it is neutral tones. So nude lipsticks or pinks or even like red, but they tend to shy away from super bright colors overall. So I think that when achieving a more expensive makeup look, just keep it clean, keep it polished, and use neutrals. Another tip to looking more expensive is to be polite and be aware of your etiquette. I think that people that have proper etiquette protocols tend to come off as more expensive. So just the simple act of saying please and thank you and being grateful and smiling, looking people in the eye, I think that really goes a long way. A really important one is confidence. I think that confidence is key when you want to look more expensive. You could be wearing the cheapest outfit, but if you have confidence, you can pull it off. It's kind of crazy how it works, and I actually have an entire video dedicated to confidence and how you can achieve self-confidence and higher self-esteem, so definitely check that out. I think there's some really great tips in there that will help you. But for the purpose of looking higher end and more expensive, having confidence in yourself, having confidence in your style and the way that you look and the way that other people perceive you is key to everything. I think that all clothing aside and beauty and skincare and everything else, I think that confidence is probably the most important thing that you can do for yourself when you're wanting to achieve a higher end look. Okay, and so now I have a bonus tip that I want to share with you. A lot of these tips don't really require any money at all, and if they do, it's very minimal. So I think that it's really easy to achieve that higher end look that you want without having to spend a lot of money. However, if you do have some extra money to spend, or if you are looking at investing in yourself and your wardrobe, I would definitely say to invest in high quality items. When I was younger, I would buy more items and pay less per item. But now that I'm older, I see the value in higher quality items that might be more expensive. So maybe that means that I'm saving up longer and I only buy one or two things, but those things last me a long time and they can be mixed and matched with a lot of different items in my wardrobe. So when it comes to investments, I would say that it's more important to invest in accessories than it is into clothing. So I personally would invest into a nice handbag. It doesn't have to be like a super high-end designer handbag, and it doesn't even have to have like a designer label on it, but I would just invest more of my money in a handbag because having an expensive looking handbag can elevate your entire look as a whole. Secondly, I would invest in outerwear. Coats especially can make you look really high-end, especially if it's tailored in the right way and it's the right fit for you. So yeah, outerwear is a really good one. So coats and blazers and jackets. And then lastly, I would say invest in footwear. We're on our feet all the time, and I've had my fair share of cheap shoes and they don't last that long. And so I think that investing in more expensive footwear is a really smart choice because they last longer, and a lot of times you just need to resole them. So instead of buying a whole new shoe, you can just take them to a cobbler and have them redo the sole of the shoe. In the long run, it saves you a lot of money, and having that expensive footwear really elevates your look, much like the handbag does. And when it comes to investing in quality pieces, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to go out and buy a brand new Prada bag or anything like that. I love utilizing secondhand stores or websites like The Real Real or Tradesy. I think that with quality items, especially designer, it never really goes out of style, especially if you pick something with a more classic look. So it doesn't have to be in season, it doesn't have to be brand new, and you can still achieve that look by saving some money. Overall, I would say that it's really important just to wear what you love and what you want, and I really want to emphasize that because these tips are just if you want to have a certain look, but you absolutely do not have to use them, and you don't have to use all of them. You can utilize a few here and a few there, but I think that it's most important to be yourself and to wear what you want and wear what makes you feel confident and beautiful. And that's it. I really hope you like these tips, and if you'd like any more tips, just let me know in a comment below and I will be sure to put that on my list. If you liked this video, make sure you share, like, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!